Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the regular council meeting, City of Gulf Shores, January the 26th. I'll call the meeting to order and ask Councilman Jones to lead us with the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would y'all join me in thanks, please? Father God, we offer up a plea for the grace of your peace to settle in hearts and communities, and for a desire to be peacemakers who heal divisions rather than create more conflict. We are made in your image, but it seems everywhere we turn these days, we see and hear reminders of a world divided on so many issues. But in our community, we mostly enjoy the absence of such harsh division and angry action. We come together with respect for each other and a willingness to listen and learn. We are grateful for that, and we ask for you to guide all our words towards civility and wisdom in all we discuss today. Thank you for our first responders, and we ask your grace and protection in their lives and for their families. Our request is simple, that they return home safely each day. Now please be with all of us here, listening, and provide wisdom, calm, and progress that serves you best. We ask these things in your Son's name, and we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Steve. Toby, will you call roll, please?
Mr. Garris?
Here.
Ms. Guthrie? Here. Mr. Harris?
Here.
Dr. Dyken?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mayor Craft?
Here. First item of business on tonight's agenda is approval of minutes. We have two sets to consider tonight. The first one is the council work session meeting of January the 5th.
Motion to approve January 5th, 2026 council work session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve these minutes as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are approved. The next set is the rescheduled regular council meeting of January the 30th.
Move for the approval of the minutes from January 20th, 2026.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve these minutes as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain, please.
One abstention. Mr. Harris duly noted. Those minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda, the approval of expense vouchers in an amount of $8,831,551.01. Anna?
Yes, sir. Of that total, $7.5 million was for capital projects. Of that total, 5.4 was for the school, to be followed by the Justice Center, just under $1 million, and the pedestrian bridge. We also had $775,000 worth of insurance premiums. 356 of that was for our annual workman's comp policy, and we paid one of three payments for our general liability, property, vehicles, equipment insurance in the amount of $419,000. When you back out those large ticket items, our biweekly operations were just over $491,000.
Thank you. Any questions for Anna on this report?
Move for the approval of expense vouchers as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve these expense vouchers. Any discussion or comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those expense vouchers are approved. Next item on the agenda is a presentation of petitions, requests, and communications and the public assembly permit application for Gulf Shores Mardi Gras Parade. Grant?
Yes, sir, Mayor. Thank you very much. And Terrence, if you would launch the presentation. So last Monday, we had quite a lengthy meeting, but also at the end of the discussion, we went through the Mardi Gras Parade application permit process, and I left you with a cliffhanger. Thank you, sir. Who is the Grand Marshal for the 2026 Mardi Gras Parade? And we have with us today a distinguished guest, Mr. Brent Burns, who was the 2025 Grand Marshal, and he's brought with him his scepter. And Brent, if we could have you come forward and get ready for this announcement. Don't forget, even though you're a pro, don't forget to turn your mic on. Okay. I was counseled that you probably don't need any assistance in using a microphone.
Can't believe you gave me a microphone. That's great. No, I'm just proud to be a part of this community, and I thank you all. I was honored to be Grand Marshal last year. And what about this cold weather, though?
Going to be nice on February 17th.
Can you call Montgomery and get something done about this, Robert? please.
Probably not.
I drove down to the beach today.
I'm not that well
I
connected.
drove down to the beach today, and the snowbirds were out sunbathing in this, hard to believe, in their bikinis. But anyway, we'll have them come on up and,
We do, well, let's, what we'd like to do is
Okay.
ask the mayor and city council members to all please come down in front with Brent and join
oh, a
Brent
photo op. Okay,
as we
all right.
announce the 2026 Grand Marshal being Mayor Robert Kraft and the Gulf Shores City Council.
Oh, my goodness. After my shenanigans last year, they've gone back to vanilla.
Well, yeah.
It's all right. It's okay. We should know. As long as it wasn't me.
So, and as is the tradition, the Grand Marshal passes the scepter from year to year to the next Grand Marshal, and the Grand Marshal City Float will be proudly portrayed within Gulf Shores Mardi Gras Parade on February the 17th at 10 a.m. down Highway 59. Brent, take it away.
Well, on behalf of powers invested in me by, I don't know who, Robert the Scepter. Everybody leave something on it next year, and I left something here from the Parrot Heads in MOTM last year. So you guys sprout up there and don't embarrass God and the country like I did last year, okay? All right.
We'll try not to.
Okay.
Guarantees. No guarantee.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you get a picture of Mayor Council first? Thank you all for indulging us and for being willing to accept this great honor. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to show the support of this Mardi Gras Parade for 2026. So now, Terrence, if you wouldn't mind launching the actual business for today. So we ask for your consideration and approval of the 47th Annual Mardi Gras Parade to take place February the 17th at 10 a.m. on Highway 59. The only update we have for you is that we have, with the Public Works Department and our police and our fire department, have worked on the actual road closures and the timeline. And we are announcing that on February 17th at 7 o'clock in the morning, West 2nd Street will be closed from Fort Morgan Road north toward Clubhouse Drive. Clubhouse Drive will also close at 7 a.m. This is for the staging and for the placement of the Mardi Gras participants. Highway 59 will be closing at 9:35 a.m. Be a complete closure just south of the bridge at 20th, so traffic will be diverted east and west. And then heading on the south end of the route, Gulf Place will also close at 7 a.m. And that's to ensure that there is a place for the parade and revelers to roll their floats and participating event activities into and around the hangout, where they'll pause temporarily while the roads clear out from the spectators, and then we'll move the parade participants either back north if they're not parading in Orange Beach, or to the east if they're going over toward Orange Beach. Grand Marshal, we have hopefully answered that question for you. And with that, I would like to make the recommendation that we approve the 2026 Mardi Gras Parade. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Grant. Any questions, council, on this application?
Motion to approve the public assembly permit for the Gulf Shores Mardi Gras Parade for 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this application as submitted. Any discussion or comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes, or that application is approved. And Grant and Bridget, good job of reviving this. We've kind of let this slip away from us over the last several years. We've had several issues related to the construction on 59, and our police department and fire department worked together and felt like we could do it, move it back there safely, which takes a lot of coordination work on their part. So it's an opportunity for the community to grow back into a Mardi Gras celebration that other communities around us are enjoying and enjoying quite a day and creating business within the city. And we hope that we can get back to that. I don't know how many years it will stay on Highway 59 as we develop other options. There's other things to talk about, figuring out where it goes, but we're going to take Mardi Gras seriously and try to recreate a festive carnival atmosphere in Gulf Shores on that day. So hopefully you'll all be able to join us, and we'll do it the right way. Grant, Bridget, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Grant, you got something else, don't you?
One more, yes, sir. We have a large activity permit application for We Run This Beach Marathon. There are no changes from the presentation last week. 2 days, Saturday, the February 21st is a 5K and a 10K run. Those runs take place wholly within the Gulf State Park backcountry trail. They start at Lake Shelby and work around the trail system. The second day on Sunday, there is a half marathon and a full marathon. The full marathon is a Boston Marathon qualifier. This will incur a slight, very brief interruption to traffic along Beach Boulevard as people leave the start-finish line area, which is at the Saltwater Pavilion. The runners will leave and they'll run to the north side of West Beach Boulevard or Beach Highway, and they'll run west until they get to the entrance into Gulf State Park, and from there they'll be wholly within the Gulf State Park. This application has been reviewed by all staff and it's ready for your approval. Recommendation is to approve. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Grant. Any questions for Grant on this assembly permit?
Move to approve the public assembly permit application for We Run the Beach.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this assembly permit as presented. Any discussion or comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This permit is approved. Thank you, Grant. Moving to new business, the first thing we have is Resolution 7071. This is to sign a professional services contract with Walcott Adams. Clint?
Yes, sir. No changes from last week. This is an amount not to exceed $99,000 for professional services to Walcott Adams for the Gulf Shores City Hall campus. Be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Clint. Any questions, council, on Resolution 7071?
Motion to approve Resolution 7071.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this resolution as presented. Any further discussion or comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7071 is approved. Thank you. Clint, you got another one?
Yes, sir. This is just to authorize staff to pursue a Rebuild Alabama Act grant, which would provide additional funds for streets resurfacing, $200,000 grant, and there would be a $45,000 match that would come out of our streets resurfacing budget.
Thank you, Clint. That's Resolution 7072.
Move for the adoption of Resolution 7072 as presented.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7072 is approved and adopted. Dan, Resolution 7073. This is grant acceptance and agreement with Go Mesa.
Sir, thank you, Mayor. So this is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a grant in the amount of $3.6 million from Go Mesa funding from ADC&R. And this is to construct the pedestrian bridge park plaza spaces on the north and south sides of the canal. You see on the screen is a conceptual rendering. The design is currently underway with WAS Design, and the project will be constructed to complement, and the construction will be coordinated with the ongoing pedestrian bridge construction, so as to minimize any impacts to businesses and traffic and things through there. This project should not cause any additional roadway closures in the area, other than the existing construction that's going on there now. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Dan. That's Resolution 7073.
Motion to Adopt resolution 7073.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 7073 is approved and adopted. Thank you, Dan. Noel Hand. You got several.
Yes, sir. I have four before you, but the first one was authorized going to a contract with CMA, which is our IT systems with the Gulf Shores High School project, in the amount $618,337. And this is just our backbone for our school's IT requirements. This is for data communications and security systems throughout the schools. So we have savings on it, but this is the first contract I would like to submit to you, but no changes from last week.
Thank you, Noel. That's resolution 7074.
Move for adoption resolution 7074 and waive its reading.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7074 is approved and adopted. Noel, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So our next item is the AV for the Gulf Shores High School project, and we recommend going into contract with RJ Young, an amount of $315,430, and it's for classroom instructional audio and visual equipment, and there was no changes from last week.
It's resolution 7075.
Move for the adoption of resolution 7075 as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve and adopt this resolution as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7075 is approved and adopted.
Okay, our next one is for furnishings, and we recommend using interior elements in the amount not to exceed $3.2 million, and that is for the furnishings for the Gulf Shores High School school projects. And this is distributed over 10 vendors that will be paying. We'll go through interior elements, but it's going to 10 different companies to be able to supply the furniture that we need for the high school. And there's no changes from last week.
Noel, I know you've had significant negotiations with all three of these resolutions on budget. How did all that work out?
So on the FF&E, which we're on right now, we budgeted $3,850,000. And so this contract is 3.2 with interior elements. That gives us $650,000 remaining for the furniture. So then we have another contract before you next with athletic equipment, and that's at $450,000. And so we're still in the net good of $200,000, but we still have more purchase outdoor furniture. There's still things we'll need to purchase again, but these are the things that we need to get going right now to be able for the manufacturing and the delivering for opening the school.
How did the two previous that we just approved, how did that add up?
Yes, sir. In the beginning, when we were budgeting the IT AV, we had 1.3 million budgeted for it, and we went back and forth of the stuff that we needed with the IT department of the school. We got it down to 977.5, and then we worked with that number down, and that's when we used for the IT with CMA at 618,337. RJ Young, which y'all just approved both those at 315,430, and that gave us roughly about 43,000 left over to the good that we're not using.
Okay, thank you. I just, you made.
Yeah, and I apologize, yes.
Well, it was a significant work on your part, and I wanted to recognize that, but also wanted everybody to know the adherence to the budget plan. So that's resolution 7076.
Move for the adoption of resolution 7076 as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as presented. Any discussion or comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7076 is approved and adopted. Now you do 7077. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. So this is the last one. So this is recommending Advantage Sports and Fitness, and this is for all the athletic equipment for our field house to outfit for workout equipment, and in the amount of $450,000, which I kind of described just a second ago. That's part of the FF&E budget, but we recommend using the 450,000 to Advantage Sports and Fitness. These are another line item that we need to get procured and built and shipped to us as well. But this has been looked at as well under scrutiny, but this is the athletic department. This is the direction they would like to go.
Thank you, Noel. That's resolution 7077.
Move for the adoption of resolution 7077 and waive its reading.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7077 is approved and adopted.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move, we've got 3 ordinances to move forward here. First we have Cindy with ordinance 2196.
Yes, sir. This is to authorize a loan of $1 million for police vehicles and equipment. South State Bank was the lowest quota at 3.72%. Since the last meeting, we've received the minutes and the closing papers from our bond counsel, Lee Birchall. And that will result in debt service payments a year at $110,714. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Cindy. That's ordinance 2196.
Move that we suspend rules of procedure that we may consider the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and I think a second to suspend the rules. Toby?
Mr. Garris.
Aye.
Ms. Guthrie.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Dyken.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mayor Kraft.
Aye. The rules are suspended. We're free to consider ordinance 2196.
Motion to consider its ordinance 2196.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance as presented. Toby?
Mr. Garris.
Aye.
Ms. Guthrie.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Dyken.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mayor Kraft.
Aye.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2196 is approved and adopted. Next, we have ordinance 2197. Dan? Dan Nettemeyer. Yep, Chief Nettemeyer. Excuse me.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's fine, Mayor. Not so easy for me. We do have a few changes from the e-bike ordinance last week. One that will not be changing will be the operation. There's no change to that particular ordinance, and that involves the general use of what goes on throughout the city. So that one will not change. Before I do highlight some of the changes, I would like to shout out to this community who once again responded, contacted me through multiple means, texts, phone calls, emails, things like that, and reported some of their feelings with regard to this e-bike ordinance. One story I did hear from, I tried to reach out and answer to everybody. I believe I did. If I didn't, I apologize. But we did hear a story. I did get a story last week that I would have reported last week had I known it. And that involves a 14-year-old who rented an e-bike here in Gulf Shores, wrecked it, broke his wrist, and missed almost the entire football season with the Gulf Shores High School. So I think this is very timely. It's very relevant. And I think we're on the right track with this ordinance as we move forward. As I said, here was the rental company regulations. Last week, we had a clause in there where we took out, we gave them, took out the class 2s and gave them, and said they could only rent class 1 e-bikes or class 2s with the disabled throttle. I'm going to move forward here. So here's the usage. I'm going to get to the part about the proposed changes. So we removed the provision allowing the city endorsement of class 2 e-bikes to be rented with the throttle disabled. There are several different models of e-bikes on the market, and I don't think, or we felt that the city shouldn't be involved with how those would be disabled if that's the route that a rental company chooses to disable a throttle. They have the ability to disable a throttle, but it would be on their own terms, which would make a class 2 a class 1 e-bike. So we took that provision out of there. I did speak to one rental company, and they received instructions on how to make a class 2 into a class 1, and it involves removal of the throttle. City's going to be out of that. We're just going to offer class 1s, allow class 1s to be rented. The other provision is they can, rent something other than a Class 1, which is an ADA compliant device, that would be a Class 2 in this situation, where they could rent it to a permanently or temporarily disabled person who has displayed a state-issued placard, either showing that they're permanently disabled or temporarily disabled. So they would, in this case, if they have a Class 2 in their stock, be able to rent a Class 2 to those individuals who display the placard. The other one allows for, we talked about making this standard all the way across. There is a provision in the ordinance that allows people under 18 to still rent. That includes or requires a parent or a legal guardian to sign for that rental, and the person under 18 would be allowed to rent that. We made this uniform in both ordinances where we would be able to impound a rental e-bike if someone under 18 is operating in violation of the ordinance, and the similar provision would apply the $50 fee to get the impoundment out. That would be a contractual thing between the rental companies and the person renting the e-bike. So this is basically a provision that allows us to seize in the event someone under 18 has rented and would be would be operating in violation. The last one we have is we're going to give them time to enact this, to adjust. The city needs some time to adjust some of the things in the ordinance. We also are responsible for the educational video, which isn't currently, it's in production right now. It's not currently ready, and allows them to adjust their fleet if they need to between now and March 1st. So we added a clause in there to make this ordinance of this particular rental ordinance effective March 1st. The ordinance as far as operation and usage would fall immediately.
Actually, that's one item we probably need to also make a change and have that effective on March 1st as well.
Okay,
That will
that's
give
fine.
us time for markings and signage.
Sure. Okay, sure, that'll be fine. So one last thing that really doesn't apply is this e-moto process. This is state law. This is already there. This is just another reminder. We're going to start an education program. This will all be done in phases. And one of the phases, we're going to implement an education program. I've spoken to our special operations group, our division in special operations. They're going to come up with some sort of cone courses, maybe an educational program in conjunction with our bike patrol. And because of that, we're gonna set up. But the next phase will be to develop an educational curriculum to get the kids in them, get them better at operating, more skilled, and in more of a controlled environment. I mentioned this morning, part of all this when I previously announced this is we have a NAT team, a nuisance abatement team. They've been out, they're out and about. They've been doing some enforcement on this. Last week, one of the nuisance abatement officers stopped an e-bike on Coastal Gateway at 46 miles an hour. It was operated by a 13-year-old with no helmet. This is relevant where we don't need anyone else to die, and we want to limit the injuries the best that we can. And overall, I believe that this is the best way that it applies directly to us in Gulf Shores. We're unique. We have turnover, we have rental turnovers, we have to re-educate continuously. And it's I think this will allow us to get to a place where we can get to something that's acceptable for the entire community. That's all I have. If y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Council, any questions?
Was that episode on Coastal, was that an e-moto or an e-bike?
It was an e-moto.
Okay. Just want to clarify.
The e-bikes don't go that fast.
Okay. Just want
One
to clarify.
question I've got, Dan, and it's on both of them. Our attorney has looked over all this stuff and comfortable with it.
Yes, sir. This was done in conjunction with the city attorney.
Okay, thank you.
In the impounding of a rental e-bike, is that in case you've got someone that has rented it? Because the assumption is the rental companies are managing who they rent to. But if somebody rents it and then lets an underage person operate it, is that what you're thinking about there?
Yes, sir. That's an option because I believe some of these rentals could be long-term. A parent could come in and say, I want to rent an e-bike for a week, and they give it to their child to go out and ride around. That allows that provision in there. And also there is a provision in the ordinance that allows with a parent or legal guardian's approval and signature, and someone under 18 can rent an e-bike in that. So a situation like a family comes in, there's 4 or 5 in a family, they want to rent 5 and ride it through the park. We don't want to discourage that or limit that, but the parent in that case would be able to sign on behalf of the juvenile and allow them to rent the e-bike. But we want to hold, it's the only way we can hold a juvenile accountable. We can't cite them for ordinance violations, but this is sort of a provision in there to make them, to add a little bit of accountability to it.
So other clarification on e-motos. The e-motos are operating not under this ordinance because they're not classified as a mobility device. They're under their own state regulation.
Correct. They're motor-driven cycles. They're beyond 750 watts, which is what the limitation. An e-bike and a bicycle are basically the same thing. An e-moto and a motorcycle are basically the same thing. Slightly different categories, slightly different features, but they're both in those 2 separate categories.
Okay, and then another, just a couple of other clarification. So if a rental company has the Class 2 e-bikes, they can disable the throttle and it will be a Class 1 e-bike, and so they're not going to have to replace their fleet.
Yes, ma'am. It would become a Class 1. And the manufacturers, we had one recommendation from a manufacturer on how to do that. So we're not going to get involved in that business. If they want to change their entire fleet, they have if their fleet is coming to the aging out, so to speak, they can turn it over to Class 1s. If there's still some life in their fleet, they can make a determination how they want to become in compliance. And one of the options would be to remove the throttles, which at least 3 rental companies here in Gulf Shores have already done.
And then I was just going to make a general comment too, that we had talked about as far as this being a phase of this challenge that we're going through. We realize it's a moving target. Things are changing constantly with these e-bikes as well. So Chief mentioned the education part of it. We've got, infrastructure parts of it. We have talked to within the city, but also CBB and the state park are wanting to work with us on that education as well. So just that this is addressing the immediate concerns of residents, but then we realize that it's a much bigger, it goes beyond just the ordinance to manage this entire challenge. And the goal, and I think the other thing, just to reiterate, is it's hard when we're making ordinances and creating regulations, but the goal is to really just create safety so that we're encouraging the usage, not limiting the usage. So that's where what the motivation of it's coming from.
I agree.
And this is not unlike technology, and it's changing quickly. So we're going to have to be nimble and paying attention and working with the community to make sure that as things change and different products come out, that we're able to be understanding and listening. Is there modifications that need to be made based on new product that's out there? And we're certainly aware of that. This is not going to be a one stamp deal and it won't change. It'll be modified, I'm sure, going forward as different things become opportunities, like the sudden emergence of the e-moto. I mean, that's within the last, at least seems to me like in the last year or so, all of a sudden we've got a different type of vehicle out there that people are using that wasn't part of our original understanding. So that will continue to happen.
And that's a good point, Mayor. There is the technology has already in some ways passed this up. There is an e-bike on the market now that at the push of a button can be a Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3 at the simple push of a button. So all of the equipment is on there, and you can push a button and go from 1 to 3. That's probably a modification we'll have to do in the future with regard to that. But you're right, the technology is going faster than the law.
I'm going to take a chance here. I know that we're voting on something that's really important to some of you that are out there. Don't typically get comments at this time, but we've changed some stuff. If you can make a comment and be brief, then I will allow you the microphone if you want to say something before we vote. If you think there's something important that we need to know that you want to talk to us about, make it quick and you're welcome to come to the microphone. Anybody?
I had a question, Mr. Mayor. We are studying ordinance 2197 at this time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, under section 21-16, designated speed limits and posted prohibited operation areas, I apologize for being absent last week. I had another appointment where how much discussion was done about the limit of 10 miles per hour. Was there discussion about that last week?
There was limited amount, but the 10-mile-an-hour will be on designated sidewalks. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, I forgot you weren't here last week. I could have gone back into more detail. That will be on the trails, which coincides with the state park, and also on designated sidewalks. So it doesn't apply to a street. The street themselves, the regular speed limits will apply.
And we did talk about putting signs on those, like the ones that will tell you your speed as well to, you know.
Well, as a general, I'm a tall guy, I ride a 29-inch bike, and it's hard to go 10 miles an hour. So personally, I know, I mean, I'm talking about standard bicycle, but 10 miles per hour, again, I know that there was a request early on when we first started discussing this of being limited to 15 miles per hour. And I would support that unless there's just major opposition from the rentals out there and what we're trying to accomplish, that this be changed to 15 miles per hour. That's my only comment. Thank you.
Any takers on that wants to say something that we need to hear? If not?
Can I say something?
Yes, please, sir.
A lot of good things about the general ordinance that cover rental companies already. The ordinance on rental companies, I'm sure you're all aware that you've received 2 letters from national organizations that have advised you that the general ordinance covers the problems the city is having, and the rental ordinance does not address the behavior issues. I know I've said that before. The main issue that we're having here is a miscommunication of e-bikes and e-motos. Thank you for clarifying, Dr. Dyken, when the chief said that the e-bike was clocked doing 46 miles an hour. E-bikes do not go 46 miles an hour. E-bikes have a top speed of 20 miles per hour. The whole point of this discussion of regulating rental e-bikes was about stopping unsupervised juveniles from traveling on e-bikes too fast and recklessly. The general ordinance covers every reckless action that they could take, and the rental ordinance does not slow an e-bike down at all. When you remove the throttle, the juvenile can still go 19 miles an hour. I'm a 50-year-old man, and I can ride it for 40 minutes straight at 19 miles an hour. You just hit a button and pedal as normal, and you're doing 16 to 19 miles an hour. The rental ordinance does not stop juveniles, and we're being lumped in with e-motos that have been illegal since 2021, when the state of Alabama adopted the 3-class e-bike system, and no enforcement has been done on that in the last 3 years, and it became the #1 problem. E-motos are the #1 problem this city is facing, not e-bikes. The chief has talked about there needs to be education about bike culture. Part of that is properly talking about the subject. When he represents that e-bikes are the #1 problem, that is not true. E-motos are the #1 problem. And e-bikes from rental companies specifically are being lumped in with that problem. This ordinance on rental companies is not ready to proceed. I'm pretty sure I could convince rental company operators that already, the only 3 companies, only three companies are already class 1. There's only 3 companies that aren't. And I'm sure I could convince them to slow to voluntarily slow our speeds to the 15 miles an hour that Mr. Jones is talking about, voluntarily. But everything else in that ordinance, rental companies already do as a manner of standard operating procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
I just want to respond to that. So I think there's a misconception, because you brought that up several times, and that the e-motos is the biggest problem. The e-motos is a big problem. It's also just the most egregious problem. So we see the instances on e-motos are more shocking, if you will. But there is equal e-bike issues. The number of e-bikes, the traffic of e-bikes specifically on the trails is also an issue. So there's the congestion issue. And then for the rental companies, the main issue, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, is it's really the fact of the user and the user inexperience. And that's where the rental portion is coming from. So we're talking about two different audiences, and that's where the rental side comes from. And the e-motos are separate from this. We're addressing them and that we're categorizing them in their own category, but not to undermine the issue that is e-bikes, just as they are, and not children. We have a lot of grown children on them as well, enjoying them, but just a lot of them. So we're having to figure out, how do we manage this influx of multiple vehicles and pedestrians?
Can I respond to that?
I'd like to say something before he responds as well. I think the rental ordinance as well does two things, and you referenced two letters that we received from national organizations and read both of those. And both of those communications, one issue was the fact that the city didn't have the power to adjust the throttles. So we made that change in reference to your request last week, as well as the request by that national organization. So that was altered and changed in our ordinance. So we addressed that issue. The second issue is, one of the authorities that the city does have is the ability to regulate whether we allow Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. So this ordinance by rental addresses that by only allowing Class 1. And that's my understanding. Class 2s can be used, but it's up to the individual owner of the bike or the rental company to disengage the throttle to basically make it a functional Class 1. We're allowing that as a Class 1 option. We're not requiring it. So I think we addressed both the concerns that the two national organizations communicated to us.
Sure. Real quickly.
To your point, Dr. Dyken, that letter came late from the previous, you guys changed the ordinance after last Monday, and we had submitted that request to the company, so they were going off last week's ordinance. But it does not give the municipality the right to say Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3 from the standpoint of a rental company. It does allow you to say that you can make the multi-use paths and trails within the city limited to a Class 1. That is Alabama state law. And one of the organizations that submitted that letter is the organization that supplied the laws for the state, or wrote the legislation. But you can mandate for everybody, so the rule applies to everybody. If Class 2 is a safety issue for the city, it should apply to everybody. And going to Jennifer's point, it is a big issue. According to Matt Young from the state park, we had 1.6 million trail visitors this year, about 50% of which are on bicycles. That's 800,000 riders in the city. Rental companies have, if we were having great years, we send out 25,000 riders a year. That makes up 3% of all of the bike riders in this community. And addressing that small percentage, and 99.9% of those riders go out every day without issue. We're talking about one issue that happened at spring break at one bike rental company where no enforcement was made, even though we all have a sign on our wall that says what the ordinances are and what the laws are. No tickets were written, no bikes were confiscated. No enforcement was done on any of that. And now we're all, and our customers are the ones that are taking the fall for this one incident that happened from one bike shop.
Mayor, I did want to add that our attorney has reviewed this ordinance with the chief and has signed off on this as well. The only thing we're asking tonight is we recommend approval with a effective date of March 1st.
To Steve's comment of the 15 miles an hour, that's going to be on the multi-use paths as well as the designated sidewalks, or?
10 miles an hour will be on the multi-use path. It's in conjunction with what's in the state park. I'll tell you, my 84-year-old mother rides 8 miles every day on a bicycle, and her top speed's 8 miles an hour. Her normal speed is about 5. So she's riding 5 to 8, doesn't have any trouble balancing. So, you know, it's going to go back and forth until we resolve it.
We need to move forward. We've got Resolution 2197 that we've been discussing, and is there any action, council?
Move we suspend rules of procedure that we may consider the ordinance.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. Toby?
Mr. Garris.
Aye.
Ms. Guthrie.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Dyken.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mayor Kraft.
Aye. The rules are suspended. We're free to consider ordinance 2197.
Move for the adoption of ordinance 2197 as presented.
Any discussion or comment? Toby?
We need a second.
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 You got a second?
Okay.
Call the roll,
Mi-
please.
Mr. Garris.
Aye.
Ms. Guthrie.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Dyken.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Nay.
Mayor Kraft.
Aye. Have one nay. Ordinance 2197 is approved and adopted. Chief, is there anything that you want to add to 2198? Why don't you step back up and briefly tell us, just go over this just real quickly in the summary.
This is the summary of the usage,
Rental.
the rental.
This is the rental.
So again, these are the requirements for the rental companies. They have their own special license, limited to Class 1 e-bikes. They have to provide a helmet to a renter, prohibit rentals to under 18 unless waiver is signed by the parent or legal guardian, subject to regular inspection by the Gulf Shores Police Department. Require all vendors to view renters to view an educational video prepared by the city. Advise renters of legal requirements for operation. And then lastly, the signature acknowledging all of the rules and ordinances. That's pretty much a summary of the rental portion of the one.
Thank you, Dan. That's ordinance 2197.
98.
98, I'm sorry.
Move that we suspend rules of procedure that we may consider the ordinance.
Second.
Motion and second to suspend the rules. Toby?
Mr. Garris.
Aye.
Ms. Guthrie.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Dyken.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mayor Kraft.
Aye. The rules are suspended. We're free to consider ordinance 2198.
Move to consider ordinance 2198.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2198. Toby?
Mr. Garris.
Aye.
Ms. Guthrie.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Dr. Dyken.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mayor Kraft.
Aye. Ordinance 2198 is approved and adopted. That ends all the business on the agenda for this evening. Are there any committee reports? Anybody in, any of the staff have any update in their report? Mr. Corcoran?
Mayor and council, thank you. Just going to give you a few updates, what's going on in Gulf Shores City Schools. Our indoor track team competed at the Icebreaker Indoor Track Tournament in Birmingham. We had 23 athletes compete, 21 personal records were achieved, 6 school records were achieved, and 5 medals were awarded to Gulf Shores track athletes, including sophomore Matt Howe, who won the pole vault amongst all schools in attendance, and junior Carter Davis won the 60-meter dash with a school record and an Icebreaker meet team record of 6.85 seconds. He also set a school record and finished 4th in the 400 with a time of 50.74. So our track team's off to a great start. That's our indoor track team. I would like to share with you that we, for the first time in history, let me find it. That the Gulf Shores High School wrestling team finished 2nd in the state in 6A in dual competition that concluded this past weekend. That's the first ever second or first place finish for the wrestling team. But just to give you an example, since we brought Coach Shaw onto this program, Gulf Shores High School wrestling is 207-31 in dual meet records. And that's just not simply wrestling around the county. Coach Shaw takes these young men and women all the way to Texas, Georgia, Florida to compete with anybody he can. His record is 207-31 losses. 5 times in the duels Final Four, 6 consecutive regional dual titles for the school, as well as the state runner-up this past year, as I pointed out. So track and wrestling are off to great starts. Now, on this cold winter day, if you'll indulge me for just a minute, I want to share with you something I'm sure will warm your heart. January has been Board of Education Appreciation Month, and the board was recognized in our past meeting with a number of handwritten gifts, mementos, et cetera, from students throughout all grades. But I just wanted to read one quick letter from you from one of our exceptional education students under the direction of Dr. Sonia Price. I won't use any names. Hello, this is blank. I can use speech to text to write this letter today. Thank you for having a good and safe school for me. I learn about important things in history from Coach Cumberland, and he is my friend. Then I get to make things in art and discover that I am a good artist. I like to play with friends at PE time. Sometimes I try new food at lunch, and I like the hot dogs best. I also get to have jobs and help in the cafeteria, greenhouse, the office, and hallways. I can do 8th grade science and experiments. I am making a book, and I work on it at 7th hour time. I can earn going to the park and exploring. I even fed some turtles there. I will ride a bike when it's spring and go on a trail. I will go on a field trip and ride a bus, I think. Now get this. Most of all, I am in control of myself, and I never get in the red zone anymore. Miss Green helps me at classes and teaches me how to handle things. She said I can do hard things then that are not even hard anymore. And I do not make a small problem into a big problem anymore. And I have some friends at school. I can be a good friend. I like to come to school and go to my classes and learn. So all this is good. Thank you for caring about our schools. So if you ever for a minute doubt what you're doing with Gulf Shores City Schools and the effect that's happening on families, that should reinforce it. Thanks.
So much stronger than a 60-yard dash record from a statement for the school.
This is a student in our exceptional student program, as we mentioned, that has made just leaps and bounds. And there are stories after stories like this, but I wanted to share this one with you
It's
personally.
important, and thank you so much for doing that.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot a report, if you don't mind.
Excuse me?
I forgot a report.
Okay, well, you got it. You got the floor.
Won't take but a second. We did, on January 10th, we had our annual e-cycle and shred event. I wanted to give you a report on that. We collected about 3.5 tons of shred and 3.5 tons of electronic recycling. The electronic recycling company was the first time vendor for us. They were very impressed with the turnout. They say they don't get this good a turnout in Mobile, and they were very impressed with our setup, our organization. We asked for all the students, youth leadership students have to participate as part of their curriculum. We had 12 students from Orange Beach High School, 12 students from Gulf Shores High School, and 3 from South Baldwin Christian Academy who turned out that day to do most of the heavy lifting for us. But they are essential to this program to make the success it is, that to get this thing over and done with in just 4 hours. So I want to thank the cities of Gulf Shores and Orange Beach for their participation and support, and especially Gulf Shores and Orange Beach High School and South Baldwin Christian Academy students for the volunteerism that they help do. They learn lessons about conservation. They learn lessons about organization and how to pull off an event, and also how important our environment is, and that this event has such a great impact. By 6.5 tons, I won't say 6.5 tons would have made it to the landfill if we hadn't done this, but I know that we can honestly say that that's how many tons remained out of the landfill because we do this. So thank you all for your support and allowing us to do this event.
Thank you, Steve. Greg?
All right, won't take but a minute. Mayor Greg Alexander, Coastal Alabama Business Chamber. Thank you, Steve, for the update. Just want to recognize a group that's here tonight, our call class, Coastal Alabama Leadership League. If you're in class, stand up or wave or say hello, please. This is 3.0. This is our third leadership class and third year of doing this. It continues to grow. Largest class we've had yet, I think 23 students, if that's about right. Great group of leaders. They're already doing philanthropic things. Give up a Saturday already to help those in need, and we'll continue to do those things. So thank you for your support on our programs, and we look forward to continuing to do a lot of great work. So Coastal Alabama Leadership League, thank y'all for being here.
Before I open it up for discussion, I want to correct a misstatement that I made the other day. I was incorrect. E-bikes can use the pedestrian bridge. You can get those in the elevator, and you can use it. So I said you couldn't. I was thinking about golf carts. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I want to set the record straight. E-bikes can use the pedestrian bridge. So subject to them fitting inside there, and I think they all will. So that's the last statement that I've got. Is anybody here that wants to approach the council on any topic? Is any comment they'd like to make? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Harris, this is going to be one of those good, bad, and uglies, so get ready. Back in 2018, I appeared before the board and said, you keep growing, crime's coming. And we got the crime. You know, Chief, I love you. You know I'd do anything in the world to help you. Deputy Chief, same way. But we've had a couple incidents off of Coastal Gateway Boulevard the last 2 weeks. I don't know if you all are familiar because you don't live up that way. But the citizens are getting scared, they're getting concerned, and I think they have every right to. I'll start off with the first incident. About 2 weeks ago, we had 2 firearms stolen from residents' vehicles in a neighborhood off of Coastal Gateway. Chief, I appreciate your officers' help, the detectives. I hope we can all work together and get those firearms off the street. I appreciate them coming by the houses, looking for video, those of us who have security cameras. It's starting to get ridiculous. That's number one. Number two, you know, I've been up here complaining for other citizens and myself about the speeding on Coastal Gateway. Approximately 6:30 a.m. yesterday morning, I heard what sounded like a cannonball going off. A vehicle took out 2 oak trees on Coastal Gateway, just west of Rayleigh Farms and Osprey Landing. No, I appreciate your crew's help with what they did, but one tree was taken out with the vehicle and they had to chainsaw the tree off the vehicle. If that tree wasn't there, it would have ended up in one of the subdivision's houses. 2, he hit another tree and it split the tree down the middle, and Noel's crew came out this morning and cut that down. I was also impressed with the city, how they got the street sweeper out yesterday morning because debris was scattered all over Coastal Gateway. What's scary about this incident is Raintree subdivision is right just west of where this vehicle accident happened yesterday morning. There's a school bus stop right there out on Coastal Gateway. There's another one before you get to the gas station, Cumberland. I believe it's might be Wind Creek. When is enough is enough. We just got through, Mr. Kevin got up here, just talked about school safety, all that. We've got to get the speed limit down before the school opens. This is a very serious matter. That vehicle could have went into one of our homes and killed somebody. Please lower the speed limit. Please. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Anybody else? Any topic, anything?
Motion adjourned.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We stand adjourned. Thank you. We'll do this again next Monday, and hopefully you'll join us again.